Namaskar, this is Krish from Bharatiya, Prabandh, Sasthan, Tiruchirapalli. In this video, I'm going to walk you through how the network of temples played a huge role in the Indian economy by acting as bankers and financiers that finance an active credit market during the ancient times in India, and how also we can transform the present day temples from merely religious institutions to the financial moguls once they were. Now, I kindly request the viewers to travel with me across the ocean of time, sailing in the boat of imagination which has no beginning nor ending. At the speed of a century per second, let's teleport to 1000 AD. Hi everybody, we are at the Mamalapuram port in the 1000 AD, and Rajaraja Cholan is still the Samrat of South India, and the viewers may look across the seashore. They can see a thriving business port with hundreds of ships anchored and workers docking or undocking the plethora of goods all across the world in the ships. Maritime trade and export was successfully thriving in India during the medieval time. It was one of the main sources of economy and income for India. India exported and traded all across the world, from China, Southeast Asia, to the Arabs, Persian, and Romans too. We exported everything almost. We were self-sufficient, and our textiles were so famous all across the world, so it was demanded everywhere. But how did the medieval Indian merchants organize themselves? At present, we know there are like so many corporations or businesses which are doing this. There were also governments taking care of this. But how this would have happened like long time ago when there were no governments or business organizations like modern things per se? The lion's share of the trade was done by corporatized merchant guilds. Such organizations created the contracts called Samaya. The inscriptions are also there given about these things. So one of the largest guilds were called the 500. This even survived for like around 600 years, and there are other guilds like Manigramam, Anjonam, etc. The code of conduct called Manuja Dharma governed such organizations. It was more of a trust-based society. Membership was based on economic reasons and interest. And the supply chain depended on the independent contracts between different guilds. Say for example, the weavers guild would contract with the merchant guild to supply a certain amount of cloth for export, and then that guild would export it and give back the income to the weavers guild after taking a commission cut. So, how does temples play a role in this trade? Interestingly, the network of temples played an important role in financing this ancient Indian economic model. The early medieval period saw a sharp increase in temple building as temples became the center of social and cultural life. Much of the Indian classical music, dance, drama, sculpture, painting, and other art forms evolved in the temples rather than the royal court or palace. But what is less generally realized is that the temples were also key to the financing of trade, industry, and infrastructure building. It is well known that medieval temples were wealthy, but it's commonly misunderstood that this wealth was created only due to royal grants. Just like the kings give some amount, or like giving some lands to the palaces or to the temples. But in reality, the network of large and small temples had a close relationship with other merchants and artisan communities, as well as the village or town councils. This is factually backed by the Archaeology Department of India. From the examination of various donations and contract artifacts which are artifacted, an 11th century inscription clearly shows that there was an active credit market floating at that time. Moreover, the reason that temples accumulate so much wealth is that they acted as bankers and financiers, and they earned money by lending out money. So now the myth-busting time. There's a famous Prabandh history that the barbarian rulers from the west and from the north who came from the Hindu Kush, say for example Muhammad Ghazni, etc., they targeted temples for attacking the Hindu religion. But friends, that's just a myth. The actual things that they did is they were intelligent and they did know that the most of the wealth is in the temples of India. So they target temples not for the religious attacks but for getting more money, wealth, gold, etc. from the temples. A clear move to say. And the examination of temple records by the Kanakalata Mukund shows that temple lending was mostly directed to village or town councils for infrastructure investment and to merchants and to artisan guilds for business contact. Interest rates usually range from 12.5 to 15% per annum. Interest rate based on caste, with Brahmin getting the lowest and Shudra getting the highest. Thus, by the later Chola period, Indian Ocean trade became a sophisticated, globalized network of multinational guilds financed by large temple banks. Now coming to the modern times, temples just become mostly ceremonies and religious places of worship, losing its financial sheen of the old era which it once had. Modern day temples administration still holds huge amount of wealth saved from endowments across generations and also regular devotee offerings. Even though they get great amount of devotee offerings in the form of gold, cash and kind, and nowadays we even get shares and bonds, this is all simply lying unproductively in the coffers instead of putting them to active use. We all know money multiplies only when it's in running, not when it's just in saving mode. So for example, to explain the magnitude of wealth amalgamated by these temples, let's take the Sri Padmanabha Swami temple, which is around 1 lakh crore treasure. Tirupati temple, they earn 600 crores per year by just selling laddu. Do you believe it or not? Yes, you heard it right. Indians do love laddus. Is grossly a mere understatement. Of course, the temple uses collected money for the maintenance, administration and such expenses. And some big temples like Tirupati, Guruvayur or Puri Jagannath use vast sums for social purposes like providing free food, shelter, education and medical care. Even still, the substantial percentage of wealth is still not utilized. The temples can deposit or sell their gold and silver bullions, which are not of course antique or religious property, they scheduled banks under the Indian gold mortgage scheme and they can earn interest. So this would be a win-win solution for us. This would satisfy the gold hunger of the Indian holds and reduce the gold import pressure on India, and also the temples can earn money instead of just putting them in the lockers. Just like the old times, the large temples can form financial institutions amongst themselves by which they can lend money to either individual or institutional borrowers and charge interest for credit. Even the small rural temples can make an impact. They can lend within the small circle of panchayat or village. This would actually solve the problem which Indian government is trying to solve for a long time, like the ease of microfinancing in rural areas, which even the big banks can't penetrate to or solve it. But by the temples acting as a lending place, this would actually increase the cash supply and boost growth in the rural economy. And as well as the big temples which give to other big institutions can improve the growth of the urban markets as well. So by this we can induce a spurt growth in our economy as per se. All that said, I would like to recommend two improvisations of this model from ancient times. Instead of lending interest rate based on cash, I think it should be based on pure financial terms, because it was one of the problems in the old model. Because the Shudra got the highest rates, since they are the trading class, they were penalized by this. If we had given them a lower cost or equal cost, they would have borrowed more and our growth would have been more in the trade. And the second improvisation model is, this sound financial model should not be just limited with respect to temples per se, but also can be extrapolated to other institutions like church, mosque and gurdwaras too. Thus in the way creating more coffers and omni-reach across religions. See, the problem was previously when there are like only temples, only most probably the Hindus or people who worship in temples would be able to access that market. But by since growing this to other branches of other religions too, we are now encountering a very bigger market and like almost we are covering the entire population of the country. So come on, let's put finance back into fight. This video is dedicated to Kautilya, an Indian teacher, philosopher, economist, jurist and royal advisor who authored the ancient Indian political treatise, the Niti-Shastra or the Arthashastra, an important precursor to classical economics. This is Krish signing off.